welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And Bebo.
Hi.
I just like Sam. Bebo.
I know you do.
Today we will be reviewing the movie The Wraith. Mikey, why don't you tell us a little bit about this movie?
Yeah, so IMDb has several different plot summaries for this movie. I'm picking the best one that best describes this movie for you guys. A small desert town has been harassed for months by a gang of drag racers, but so far no one has done anything to stop them. One day, a ghostly black car shows up, challenging members of the group to race, then killing them one by one. Neither the gang nor the police can catch the car or its driver, but some investigating into the gang's past may reveal just who's behind all this. Oh, so IMDb kind of hits the nail on the head, and the other ones are very similar. But The Wraith, it's a great movie. To me, hands down. That starts off with the plot. You kind of learn a little bit about the backstory, but some of the main characters, Charlie Sheen plays Jake in the movie. Nick Cassavetes is Packard Walsh. Sherilyn Fenn is also Carrie, and then Randy Quaid is Sheriff Loomis. And so. Shitter's full. I love Randy Quaid. So it kind of starts off to where we see this kid, Charlie Sheen, that actually shows up. A long opening shot of him on a motorcycle. They really could have done that long. Holy shit! It had to have been 10 minutes, easily 10 minutes.
It felt like it anyway.
It felt like 10 minutes. But you see it in the background. You see Charlie Sheen coming, and it's like the Energizer Bunny. It just keeps coming and going right.
I came from Washington State, and they filmed it from Washington State all the way to fucking Arizona.
So that opening shot, it's a pretty long fucking shot. But he's new to town, and he shows up, and he meets I can't remember the name of his brother in the movie. My mind just went blank. Anyway,
again?
Yes. So Carrie is in this. Meets Carrie, which is a girlfriend of the past character, Jamie. Yes.
Jamie.
Yeah.
His brother's name is Billy.
Yeah, you'll see our confusion at the end.
Yes.
Billy, yes. Sorry about that. So we kind of see they meet up at this like watering hole, I guess you could say. Kind of a secluded area where the teens from high school kind of meet up to go down the river. Okay, so you kind of go that part. So
it's
they kind
of
have
YMCA.
Yeah, a natural YMCA. So Charlie Sheen meets up with again Billy, and he has an infatuation with Carrie. Well, you come to find out your infatuation with Carrie was the fact that he was the boyfriend that was killed from this gang of
drag racers.
Yeah. So the opening part of it kind of explains why the drag racers do what they do. They race for pink slips.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you lose your race, you lose your car.
You're forced. They force people to race for pink slips.
So they're bullies. It's a big gang of bullies, street racers, drag racers, I guess you could say. So the whole premise behind that is to add to their collection. They want to add better cars, faster cars, soup them up, and so forth. So after kind of we understand, after we see Packard at this river, so to say, gathering area, he has a flashback of what they did to this kid that
Mhm.
was with Carrie. Packard's very a possessive individual. He's a bully. If no one can have Carrie,
No one can have
if
her.
he can't have her, no one's going to have her. It's one of those to where they very dominant
Mm-hmm.
person in the movie, and controlling. So everybody in this gang is scared of Packard.
Everybody in
they
the whole
always
town is scared of Packard.
The whole town, yeah, because the gang knows what they've done and knows what Packard's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's kind of the premise of the opening scene. They kind of understand what's going on, and you kind of see that you don't understand that they see the Dodge. Let's put it that way. They see the Dodge pull up.
It's a Chrysler. It's a Chrysler.
Oh, Dodge Chrysler. Yeah,
It's a
still a
Chrysler.
Dodge.
Depends on which
It's
end
a
of the car
Dodge.
you look
They're
at.
all
Yeah.
by the same damn company.
No, you
So it
only
starts
see
off-
Chrysler. That's all you see.
start-
Yeah, you start off.
98% of this movie, you see the Chrysler emblem, very
You
small,
see the Chrysler emblem
and then
on
at the very
front,
end, Dodge.
blended into the front bumper.
Yes.
And so I don't want to go into a lot of detail of this movie. You guys have to watch it, but
Right.
it really comes down to revenge.
Don't be a bully like those guys in the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
You
Just
don't
watch
have
the
to
damn
watch
movie.
it. They can.
Watch the
okay?
damn movie. You have to watch it. It's an awesome movie. But I lost my train of thought again. Good job.
Shocker.
Good job, Bebo. It's all the time. It's every week. It sucks.
It's
But this character, which is the Wraith, drives this Chrysler, and he uses the Chrysler to get his revenge on this entire gang.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the premise of most of the movie. After every single race, the one thing you guys want to kind of look for, there's pieces of the Wraith that kind of disappear. After every single time that he kills one of them, he has one of these braces,
Mhm.
arm braces,
Yeah,
leg braces. They're kind of like a disability after what have happened to him. And that after that one person has died, no matter who it is,
disappears.
they disappear. So it kind of relieves that disability off of the Wraith and kind of sets him free, I guess you could say. Perfect analogy for it. So the characters are great. Skank, Cutter Boy, Skank huffs and drinks pretty much everything that has to do with a vehicle.
Chemicals
Whether it's
and-
WD-40, he drinks
Antifreeze, hydraulic
Antifreeze.
fluid.
transmission fluid, brake fluid. He huffs spray paint.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that the Wraith actually had to kill him. I think he was going to
Yeah.
die of natural causes
Yeah,
eventually.
absolutely.
My
Yeah.
favorite thing is no matter what he takes, he goes, "Oh, that's got a kick to
Yeah,
it."
This shit's got
everything.
Some, this shit's got some
everything.
kick. This shit's got a kick. Yeah. So and you kind of have that with Gutter Boy. You have that weasel character to where he's the always the do what he's told type, very scared
Yeah.
type mentality. And when the
He's the
only one
whipping
that
boy.
actually yeah, exactly. And the only one that survives out of this is Clint Howard's character,
Hmm.
because he was not there when they killed that guy.
Right.
He knows about it, but since he didn't take part of it and
He-
involve himself in it, the Wraith really wasn't out to get him. So that's why he killed the rest of them.
Right.
So it's from start to finish, a fun movie to watch. Anybody else views? Bebo, what's your view?
Usually right in front.
No, it's like right here. You can't see me. What's your ideas of the movie? So give me some quick synopsis of the
Your
movie.
thoughts.
The
Your
quick
thoughts?
synopsis. Okay, fine. Boy gets murdered for loving girl. Boy comes back to small
Kills
town.
everyone.
To small town where bad guys are there, but are gangs and are dumbasses. He ends up
Yeah.
killing all of them. Gets the girl back. Says goodbye to his brother, and they drift off on a motorcycle.
Okay, what are your thoughts of that movie then? Of this movie?
Not your rating,
Yeah, just,
Um,
just
I-
your
I
general
actually-
thoughts. Your general
just
thoughts.
your general.
I thought it
thoughts.
was. I thought it was okay. Movie wise, I liked the car parts of the movie, seeing the cars drag race and stuff like that, how
was
he
fun.
actually killed them and stuff like that using the vehicle to do so. I thought it was kind of it is a B movie, definitely,
Yeah.
watching it, but I don't know. I liked it. I saw it when I was younger. I remembered it, but I've always liked the movie just because I kind of like the car stuff in it.
Now, can you explain to me how and why they went into that fiery wreck, came out cold and missing eyes? Did they ever explain that, or did you ever find
No.
why
Yes.
that happened?
Yeah, give me a second. Oh, I will get down to it.
I just
Please
thought
talk
that was
amongst yourselves.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was the
I'll-
strangest thing in the
I'll
movie.
give my quick thoughts on this movie while he's looking that up.
Yeah.
I kind of did enjoy this movie. It sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt 80s. You felt the 80s vibe
yeah.
from it. It had your race scenes. It had your normal bad acting. It had good acting too, but it did have bad acting. Some of the special effects were 80s special effects. I mean, they weren't the best in the world, but they weren't the worst either. But
No, that was on our previous movie, Mac and Me.
correct. Just scroll down on our YouTube channel and you can find our review on that and have a ball because that was a fun episode. No, I thought this. I mean, it had some good actors, Charlie Sheen and Randy Quaid. So I mean, you can't really knock this movie too much, but that's without
The best thing throughout the entire movie is Clint Howard's wig.
Yes.
Yes, his spiky hair.
Yes,
The eraser, it was made to basically look like Eraserhead, but they called him Rughead in the movie, but it's literally just like straight up. It basically looked like Frankenstein's wife. It's just straight up and squared. But
my favorite thing in the movie was actually the Chrysler car. I thought that car looked really badass. Like I thought it was a Lambo
for that time, especially when it came out. When I first saw the movie when I was younger, I was like, "That's a badass car," because it's of course not something you saw because it was basically a concept car.
Yeah.
Yes. It looked like that Lamborghini, the Diablo from the 80s.
Yeah, it was.
And
cool
honestly, that's what I thought it was
it.
until they panned in front of the car.
All right, you see the Chrysler.
And I'm like,
you're like, what kind of Chrysler car is this?
Yeah, I'm like, now that's.
I
literally
not a
looked it
LeBaron.
up. I was like, Chrysler, my ass. Let me look this up.
Is that a Chrysler LeBaron? No.
No. Like, that
No,
just don't make
the
sense.
camera angles. We got to mention the camera angles too, because we when they do the race scenes, for actually each one of the race scenes, they put that camera right there on front of the car, and the car drove the path that they were racing. So I thought that was kind of a cool, a cool point of view or a cool angle.
It kind of lets you feel like you knew how fast it kind of like it put you in the seat. Yeah. I mean, you could kind of feel how fast the car was supposed to be going. So it was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did find it. They said that when the Wraith kills each gang member, their bodies are left undamaged, although their eyes appear to be basically burned out. They're missing the eyes. The socket of the eye is completely black and charred looking. It said the concept was included in the film with no explanation as to why it happened. So if you do watch the film, they never explain like why it happens. I mean, literally the car and everything burns up. It's on fire. It's ash.
Yeah.
But the bodies are always intact. No type of charring, no score marks. The only thing you notice is that the bodies are like white, like ghost white, and then the eyes are missing.
Yeah. I don't understand why. Okay. Each one of the gang members died in a explosion of some sort, whether it be car running into the building and exploding the building, or while drag racing.
And I can tell you why.
I get that. Why didn't the Wraith actually just kill them all when he walked in with a freaking gun and was shooting up everything? Each one of them were right there. He could have just went pop, 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 pop in a movie.
I can answer that for you.
In a movie.
I can actually answer that for you.
Okay.
Because the movie had to deal with drag racing, so they had a fucking drag race. Otherwise, we have a 2-minute long movie. That's literally like, oh my God, he killed me. I came back. Bam. Okay, movie over.
It's a huge plot hole. I mean, he even points the gun at Packard. right at him.
And then shoots his car.
Yeah, and then shoots his car. I'm like, okay, dude. Packard's
But you have
not
to think
moving.
about it.
He's
But if
not
you
scared.
think about it, though, their cars are what they pride themselves on. Their cars are
it's
their
an
prizes.
extension
Are
of
their, like,
themselves. Kill their cars,
babies. So
kills
him
them.
going in there and destroying the place was more along, I think, the lines of antagonizing them more, so that when they saw him, they would try to race him or catch him.
Yeah.
So that would be my thinking.
He's there to take revenge.
Yeah.
He is there to take revenge. You're taking revenge if you just pop them.
Maybe
just put a cap in their ass. I mean, literally.
Yes, but maybe the only way for him to get rid of, like, the braces and the shit like that is to kill them with the car as opposed to with the gun.
Okay.
The gun, which by the way was a shotgun that looked like it was from 2132 or something, because it had lights on it. That's how they make it look futuristic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had the lights from Kid on the side of the gun doing this.
So tell me, Kevin. Listen. So you said, well, how much was it to repair the cars? $13,000.
Yes.
And they repaired it in 24 hours.
Yes.
Now, if
after shooting up all the cars, totally exploding the hood off of one of them, and their explanation was, well, we were pounding on the metal all night. I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't understand how things get done, because you're a freaking magician if you got that done and made that car look halfway presentable overnight.
Let's just be honest, okay? Duct tape fixes everything. Okay. But no, the director, whose name is Mike Marvin, in regards to the way that these guys show up with the no eyes and stuff, later attempted to explain the idea, likening the scenario to when lightning strikes or when a body spontaneously combusts, but the fire damages nothing else around it. And this being like the opposite effect of what happening to them. So basically everything else exploding, but them staying here now. He also inserted a flash frame at the moment of each car crash that you see right before they're dead. The last thing they see is the car. And he said that as that's the last thing they see before they die, that's the vision of that, because it is like, a Wraith vehicle or whatever.
Okay.
The vision of that being the last thing they saw is what actually burns out their eyes. That's what he came out to say. Does it make sense? No, but I found out why he said.
That's deep. That's deep.
That's deeper than the whole movie. All right.
Like you can read that, and it's basically the same scene at Revenge of the Nerds 2, where they're all laying there high and Ogre smokes and goes, "What if CAT really spelled dog?"
Yeah.
But just to let everybody know, the type
that's a
of
good
vehicle,
Ogre impression. I like that, Bebo.
I've watched it a lot of times.
Yes. Way too much.
You have no idea. No, but the car, the Wraith vehicle, just so everybody knows, because we've been calling it a Dodge or a Chrysler, it's actually called the Dodge M4S. It was a joint effort between Dodge's division of Chrysler and PPG Industries, but basically it was to be the pace car for the IndyCar World Series. It was designed and constructed at an estimated cost of $1.1 million, and featured performance and technology to match the lofty figure that it had. Now, it does state that the vehicle itself was powered by a Chrysler 2.2 liter four-cylinder one-of-a-kind engine that exceeded 194 miles per hour.
How many liter engine was that?
2.2.
That's a Dodge Neon. A Dodge Neon is a 2.2 liter engine. Like, holy shit, that's a fast Dodge Neon.
I will say, I did like the scene when they opened up the engine compartment of the car.
Oh, yeah.
Which was in the rear.
Yeah, which was in the rear.
Rear
which
engine.
Made it look like a Lambo again.
And it's hovering.
Yes.
Yeah, the engine's hovering and electricity's
cool.
going all over it.
The way it was, the way the engine kind of moved as it
was almost like it was a heart.
Yeah, it looked like a heartbeat. It looked like a heartbeat. So
I
did enjoy that, the Wraith aspect of that. So that I got was pretty cool.
Now, in the movie, a total of 7 versions of the M4S were needed for filming. They had the original, the actual one that was on loan from Dodge and was used for like the close-ups and the details when they were showing that.
Probably the very end scene when it actually said Dodge.
Yeah. Now, 2 more drivers is what they called them that consisted of perfectly detailed bodies that were actually on dune buggy chassis, were used for like the stunt driving. And then there were 4 shells, empty bodies on bare towable frames that were sacrificed in the various crash scenes.
Cool beans. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up and give our ratings on this movie.
Well, Mike, you go first since it was your movie.
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is a movie where grew up watching. I enjoyed it, just the aspects. It's a lot of action. It has some suspense, some drama, murder, death, which was always fun.
And breasts.
Always fun in the when I was young in the 80s. But the action was fun with the car racing and the car chase scenes. The actual car itself, that super car, I guess you could say, the Dodge MS4 Turbo.
The supercharged turbo is, I think, what they actually how they refer to it in the movie.
So I was always fascinated with cars like that, and I think that's kind of why I enjoyed it a little bit more. And the Ghost Wraith, the revenge story plot interested me as well. The acting, not as good. I thought Charlie Sheen's acting was very bland and boring, like he was high. Have you ever seen him in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Have you ever seen him in any movie he's done?
Yeah, I would say any movie out of the 80s, he's exactly the same.
It's literally him from Major League as well.
Yeah. Yes, it's exactly the same. Ferris Bueller, Major League, and the Wraith. It's all the same. Same shitty acting. Even Men at Work. So just wanted to say that, it is a movie that when it comes on, I will definitely sit down and watch it. Would the kids enjoy it? Maybe for the racing aspect of it, but they're just not into that street racing, I think, that much anymore. At least, I know my kids aren't into the racing and the cars. So I would give it a solid 7, just because it's an entertaining movie. I personally would sit and watch it anytime it came on, but definitely not for the acting abilities or or anything like that. But yeah, it's a 7 for me. What about you, Bearded Geek?
I enjoyed this movie for the car. I enjoyed it for the racing aspect of it. It did have, Randy Quaid in it and stuff like that. There was some good acting, decent acting in it. I won't say good. I'll say there was some decent acting.
I feel like it's really shitty that this movie, for us to say it had some good acting, is always, prequeled by us saying that Quaid was in this.
Yes.
Like, if we're saying that,
well,
like, it kind of gives y'all what we mean by when we say shitty acting.
To me, Randy Quaid was the best acting in this movie, followed by Charlie Sheen's blandness. But it did have some cool scenes in it. It did.
Don't you ever disrespect Clint Howard like that again.
Whatever, dude.
I like Clint Howard's character. Clint Howard's character was great in this movie.
It really was.
He did a better acting.
And if you pay attention, just like Charlie Sheen, that's also Clint Howard in every other movie you see him in.
Basically, yeah. Anyway,
he just had a wig on in this one.
Even right. Austin Powers? Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
But yeah, it had decent acting. Some of the shots that they had were really good. The cinematography was decent. It to me, it was a decent movie. It had good racing. It had titties. It had everything that
It had titties.
Did a good.
You gotta love it for its titties.
Yeah, hey, they were good. They were good titties too. But
nice titties.
Sherilyn Fenn does have some nice titties.
But it was a good 80s movie. I mean, a typical 80s movie. I'm gonna give this a straight 5. I can't go any higher than that. It's middle of the road. I don't know if I would recommend this to anybody unless they're a car person. That's really about the only thing I could recommend this movie to, is if they were a car person. How about you, Bevo?
Well, I'm actually surprised. I was for sure you were going to give this a 4.
I debated.
I
was going low.
I was like, he's going to be going lower than just midway, but I'm surprised.
Bearded Geek loves the comedies. He'll give the comedies 8s, 9s, and 10s, but not the serious movies.
Wait, this wasn't a comedy?
Call this a serious movie?
It wasn't a comedy.
Did you see the haircut on Clint Howard? This was a comedy.
It did only take 4 weeks to film this movie.
Yeah, it took 27 days.
Yeah,
27 days to film this movie. That's crazy.
All right.
All right.
So this movie, I liked it. You know, it's more of a nostalgia thing for me at this point. I grew up watching it. It's a movie that I could watch if it came on. I don't necessarily think it's a movie that I myself would put on. You know, like if it's something that's on, I'd be like, oh, hey, I remember this, and I'll watch it.
I would.
But the movie itself, I like the car chases in it. I love the drag racing. Like you guys, Mikey said, I liked how they put the camera on the front. You actually made you feel like you were behind the wheel and going fast in the car. Acting was not that great. But I kind of feel like was also typical for a movie that's mostly about teenagers in the 80s. You know, I kind of feel like it's somewhat par for it. The movie itself, I would probably give, I'd say a 6, not quite as high as Mikey with a 7, but I'd give it a 6. Mainly, most of that for me is going to be nostalgia, because I did like the movie. I like watching the car races when I was younger and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like the movie, and like I said, but like the Bearded Geek said, I do not know that I would recommend this movie unless maybe the person liked cars and just wanted to see something that was kind of old school movie wise. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely nothing I would recommend it. Like people who have, you know, kids or teenagers who like it, I don't necessarily think that they would watch it. Especially for that long ass fucking opening.
And it ends exactly the same.
It does.
It ends exactly the same.
Well, it's because they have to travel that same road, so it's 384 miles into the camera, and then 384 miles away from the camera.
They got to bring it full circle.
Full circle.
Yes.
Full circle.
All right,
but the kids probably would watch it for the titties. If you tell a 12-year-old, hey buddy, there's titties in this movie.
He'll
be like,
in this movie.
Hell yeah, I'm watching this. Just get to 22 minutes and 14 seconds.
Yeah, it's PG-13. So.
Well, what was funny to me is when I was looking up like some trivia stuff on this, when the movie was actually being filmed, Sherilyn Fenn, who played the female lead, was actually dating Johnny Depp. At the time, and he was actually living with her at the hotel along with like the film's crew when the movie was being filmed. So the entire time she's got her titty out, Johnny Depp's over on the side, just like, hey, how you doing?
Well,
and Charlie Sheen's like, Johnny who?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't watch 21 Jump Street.
I got tiger blood. I'm
on a drug and it's called Charlie Sheen.
All right, guys. I don't have any retro merchandise this time. I could not find anything actually worth sharing. We've done the trivia.
If you do,
let us know.
Let us know, because we can't find shit.
Nope, you can't find anything.
No.
So coming up onto the back to the retro review, it is my choice. I know what I'm picking. I want a good sports movie this time. We're staying in the 80s.
Necessary Roughness.
What is a good sports movie with a A-list actor, Sylvester Stallone? That's right.
Rocky?
We're going sports, over the top, baby.
No, what? Wait a minute.
Arm
wrestling is not a sport.
It is
in the 80s, it was a sport, sir.
In the 80s, it was a sport.
In the 80s, it was a sport. Got Stallone just sitting there in the cab of his truck. With the rates.
That's right, man.
It is going to be a serious, boring movie.
But we are going over the top. It's actually one of my favorite Stallone movies. So, that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. Don't forget to hit that like button. Give us a good old thumbing. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell.
Me and Mikey the Freak are gonna need you to never say give us a good
I do not want a thumbing.
Yeah.
I would not want a thumbing.
No, that's a like. Give us a thumbs up.
Give
Don't
us a
give us a
thumbs up.
thumbing.
Not a thumbing.
No. This is a thumbs up. This is a thumbing. Thumbs up, thumbing. Okay.
Listen.
Let's try this again. Give us a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs
hit
up
the
and a
subscribe
thumbing,
button.
And
No thumbing.
No thumbing. Listen, if y'all want to thumb somebody, you apparently have been given permission from the Bearded Geek over here. Thumb the shit out of them. Okay.
If Bearded Geek said I can thumb somebody.
Bebo and Mikey the Freak, no thumbing.
No.
right.
Absolutely not.
That does
Geek,
it for this
thumb
episode of the Back to the Retro Review. So for Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I am the Bearded Geek saying keep it retro, everybody.
Peace.